So we are back with another episode of Fallout 4 Mods Weekly. First up, as you guys did just see, we do have the Cross Ruger Mark V. This is going to be a new mod by Nero, and it's a pretty special one at that. At first glance, it kind of just looks like a fairly simple new weapon mod. There's a lot of customization, a few attachments here and there, but one such attachment is actually quite special, and that's going to be the different infuser types you can apply to this. It requires you to get to a certain level and then attach a certain receiver and then, go through all those steps in the weapon crafting system. But once you actually get these, your bullets will be infused with one of three things. That being cryo, plasma, or fire. These are all quite special, and it definitely makes this stand out from the pack of other pistols, and there's quite a few out there. But honestly, that's not it. There's a ton of other customization, even customization within those infuser types. While a lot of other mods have introduced this idea, it hasn't really done it on this level of quality. Each infuser has 3 subtypes within it, so you could have a Mark 1, 2, or 3 variant, and then of course the cryo, plasma, or fire. Each of those different marks have different visual changes, so they actually have more attachments on your weapon. I'm using the most upgraded one, so I have the most on my gun, but if you use the lower end one, you may only have one little plasma cartridge on the side there. In addition to all that, there's a ton of different barrel extensions, there's a ton of different stocks, and the color customization is pretty next level here. You can make the receiver one color, the stock another color, and then the pistol grip a third color. You could really go all out on this one, and it's a ton of fun to actually make this a little bit more of your own. It obviously is very unique, and you could really personalize it to make it stand out from the rest of your arsenal. This is going to be a great sidearm, whether it be on the earlier levels of the game or even at the later ones. That's the way he set up this mod. He set up some of the different receivers to actually function in a pretty logical way, and all around, this is a great weapon mod. It's probably the best pistol mod that has ever come out for Fallout 4. If you haven't downloaded it just yet, I would definitely get on that. But also, a huge shout out to Nero. He's been posting consistent high quality content, and if you haven't donated to him, you definitely should. That was largely the premier mod this week, but we actually got some other mods also. The next one is going to be Immersive Movement. This is actually a mod that originally was for Skyrim, but someone did recreate it for Fallout 4. This is going to make it seem like you're more of an actual human while moving around in Fallout 4, whether that be just as a normal walking stance. You're going to be a little bit slower, you're going to move from side to side, like actually looking from one side of the screen to another, a little bit slower also, but it's not overly slow. It actually is just kind of a all-around minor reduction, and it definitely does make it feel a bit more realistic. I feel like sprinting actually holds the most notable change brought by this mod. You don't really just dart from one point to another as quickly as before. It's a little bit more, kind of human-like now. Even beyond that, other animals and NPCs in the game actually do have their speed boosted, so the Deathclaws will move a lot faster. At the same time, if you're in power armor, you're going to move a bit slower. Not slower than normal walking, just a bit slower than you did previously in power armor. All around, this is definitely not going to be for everyone. I definitely think it's a pretty cool mod, an interesting one, but if you don't like moving slower and you like playing a fast-paced game, probably pass on this one. Then we have the Hunting Rifle Animation Replacer. This is going to be a new mod by Hitman, and it's new animations, as the title suggests, but actually a little bit more than that. It's going to be a new set of right-handed animations, but also some new sounds, and I feel like the culmination of those two make the hunting rifle feel like a totally new gun after downloading this.
Find you soon, human! Gotcha!
It's immensely satisfying to use, and if you throw on a see-through combat scope, maybe one of those weapon paint jobs if you did get it through Creation Club, and you really have something that's quite unique and quite different than the vanilla option. That sound has a lot more power behind it. The bolt pullback also has a lot more power behind it. It doesn't look as light or as kind of novice as it did in vanilla Fallout 4. If you like that, then this is going to be great for you. Maybe if you don't like that, then obviously animations are very subjective. You have to like the sounds and things you're seeing to download them. Personally, I think these are great. It's going to be a permanent addition in my load order because the hunting rifle is very cool, and I think these bring enough changes to actually make it fun again to use in Fallout. But then on the other side of the river, War Daddy actually also released a reanimation pack, this time for the combat shotgun and rifle. This too is not just new animations, although yes, that is part of the package. He also brought some other tweaks that you can make while crafting these. After downloading this mod, you're going to find options to actually tweak how fast you could fire it, so the rate of fire, and also the damage and ammo types. So now if you want the vanilla combat shotgun to have explosive or slug ammo, that's going to be an option now. If you want the combat rifle to fire 5.56 to do more damage, but also kind of be more expensive, that is also an option. The animations are definitely different this time around. They're not necessarily in one direction or another, I just think they look a bit different. I personally like this, it's refreshing, because if you're like me, you've dumped tons of hours into Fallout 4, and seeing something new when you reload is a little bit needed if you actually want me to use these weapons time and time again. I feel like this is more so of an overhaul of those vanilla weapons. It actually brings in new functionality with those new ammo types and the new rate of fire changes. And although it's maybe not the most balanced thing in the world, it definitely is high quality. War Daddy also recently set up a Patreon, so if you guys do want to support him or his creations, you can find a link to that also down below next to his mods. That was largely it for this week, but there's actually one other one that isn't a traditional mod, but I want to cover it nonetheless. That's going to be the Sim Settlement City Planners Toolkit. This is released by KINGGATH, and what this is going to do is allow people to actually create city plans for sim settlements, something that I've been waiting for. It's more or less going to be a set of instructions so you can actually create city plans at any of the different settlements throughout the game. In the most recent expansion for Sim Settlements, Rise of the Commonwealth, you can actually assign a leader to your settlement and they will kind of function automatically. But as you do that, a city plan is assigned. Right now you really only have a few, a lot of the settlements only having one, the default one that came with the mod. But I imagine over the next few weeks we're going to see an influx of cool and unique settlement designs. This is really cool for two reasons. First and foremost, obviously it's going to make settlements look very different. If someone has a cool settlement build, you could actually have that in your game, but also have it so that's a living, breathing settlement. That's awesome, I think. So a lot of cool stuff to come. I'll definitely be covering some of these as they are released. That's pretty much going to wrap it up. But for today's psychology fun fact, it's actually going to be about memory again. I've talked about memory quite a lot. It was actually probably my favorite undergraduate class I've taken thus far. Well, something interesting about memory is, hypothetically, obviously we don't know it for a fact, but a lot of people theorize that your memory is actually unlimited. And technically speaking, you don't forget anything. What you did last week at 2:45 p.m. is somewhere in your brain right now. The thing you do forget, or that kind of expires or goes away, is actually the cue to recall that. So more or less, to actually retrieve any of these memories, you're going to need a specific cue. But without that cue, it's very hard for you to actually remember it. It's sometimes why when somebody's talking about something, you'll kind of recall an event that happened to you, or it'll make you think about something that you otherwise kind of forgot about. That's creating a cue for you to actually think back on some of those memories that otherwise the cues were gone. I don't know, it's kind of happy and sad, I feel like. It's kind of cool that you still hypothetically remember anything, but also kind of sad that there's some memories that I will never be able to remember again because I will never have that appropriate cue again. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. If you guys enjoyed, you could leave a like or a comment. As always, again, I thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.